You know the phrase, don't judge a book by its cover? I don't really like that phrase, because the whole point of a cover of a book is to get people to buy it. Like, if I'm looking for somewhere to go eat, am I gonna go to Chick-fil-A with a nice sign and clean restaurant? Or am I gonna go to KFC that has piss stains everywhere and is also on fire? And since nobody eats KFC, I assume other people feel the same way. This is why companies try so hard to look nice and friendly, because no one's gonna pay them if they don't. But in the modern world, nearly every purchase isn't a one and done. For example, if you buy a new phone, the goal is to get you to love that phone so much, and then a few years later, the company has a new phone out, so you get that. For a company, a customer base of 50,000 people that buy a new phone every 2 years is way more valuable than 100,000 people who buy a phone, hate it, and then never buy from that company again. Because of this, marketing isn't just about commercials and billboards, it's about delivering a great product to get more money out of loyal customers. And one of the most important things for this, especially in technology, is the UI. UI stands for user interface and comprises of stuff like icons, buttons, layouts, colors, and it's basically everything that a user will have to do to, well, use the product, whether it be a lamp or an iPhone. Now, UI is generally associated with software, but the same general principles of UI design apply to basically everything. Because UI is essential to being able to do anything with a product, it's very, very important. A good UI makes a good UX, or user experience. And if the experience of using something is shitty, why use it? During this video, we're going to look at a couple different UIs and see what makes a good UI and what fucking monster makes games for Windows Live. The first thing I'm going to talk about is Windows, everyone's favorite device for looking into the outside world without having to step outside the safety of one's home. Windows are the perfect example of good design because a well-placed window with the correct accessories can make a huge difference. For example, if you want more security, put bars on your window. And if you're more into looks, a number of designs are available that let you customize your window to your heart's desire. If executed right, a good window will be customizable, simple, and most of all, easy to use. Interacting with a window is usually just a simple arm movement that takes almost no time to do. And given all the benefits that Windows have, you would be an idiot not to have some of these puppies in your house. 10 out of 10. The design of Windows 8 is condescendingly simple, to the point where it becomes easier to use the less smart you are. This is known as a Metro style UI, which uses simple shapes, flat icons, and a generally modern feel. However, while this menu looks pretty enough, the issue is that Microsoft isn't Apple. On the Mac, there's stuff like the notification bar, calendar, and Siri, which are useful to most Mac users. The reason why this works is because Apple has such a better ecosystem than Microsoft. If I have an iPhone, Apple Watch, and a Mac, well, of course I'm going to use Apple Calendar. But Windows doesn't have any other products or any reason for me to use the default calendar app. So for them to shove it down my throat with these confusing icons and shapes that are the complete opposite of what a Windows machine should be. This isn't an iPad or Chromebook. This is something that is used for real fucking work. And the fact that they put this out is so goddamn fucked. At least on the Mac. If you don't use Apple software, it's like, whatever. But Windows has a fucking gun to my head if I think even for a second about not using Groove Music. The main reason why Windows 8 is so trash is because it's not simple, it's dumbed down. And while Windows 10 is better, they're still trying to do the same shit and it's annoying. Microsoft, stop it. I don't really love Apple, but they do design better than anyone else. Both iOS and macOS have always looked great, and so many features like Siri, the gesture system, and every other great UI element makes for a crazy amazing user experience. Even if Apple isn't the best at hardware manufacturing or pricing, their software and operating system blows Windows and Android out of the water when it comes to ease of use and design. I use a Windows machine because, to be honest, I have to be able to play games, do work, and get decent performance. I would love to run macOS, because I actually want to use the built-in apps, and that is something I can't say about anybody else. Apple has a suite of easy-to-use, well-designed apps that integrate with each other so well. Just look at stuff like Final Cut, which is such a great video editing platform that people pay $6,000 for a computer with a 580 in it just to use it. Apple has a UI that works, and that is really the best UI possible. Now that we looked at a couple examples, it's easy to see that there's a few core components that make a UI good. First of all, it has to be easy to use. Even if a UI looks super pretty, if it's hard to use, no one will use it. As I said in my last video about Persona 5 and its UI, a balance must be struck between looks and function, and so many designs fuck up either one of them. Even if a UI element works super well, if it looks bad, the user will still be confused. It's amazing to me that there are so many designs that are total confusing pieces of shit when making a decent looking UI is so fucking easy. An amazing UI is hard, sure, but having a serviceable design that doesn't cause me to get 5 hernias from looking at it shouldn't be that difficult. Secondly, it needs to have a design that reflects purpose. For example, Duolingo is a fun and easy way to learn a language, and the UI reflects that perfectly. The UI is simple and straightforward, which makes the experience of learning a language pretty easy and almost kind of fun at times. And then there's this playful mascot, Duo, who is a psychotic and manipulative bastard, but that's a discussion for another day. And lastly, a great UI should be an art within itself. UI is equal parts science and art, and I think it's maybe a little sad that every website looks the same, because to me, that customization is what made the internet so great. A truly great UI should look like this, or this, or this, but not this.
Pop up at the cut, we get up with ya. Smoke him down like a damn switcher. Fuck a thought, cause I need my bands bigger. Thought she was a keeper, but my man's hit her. Yeah, my man's hit her, so I gotta switch her. Yeah, my man's hit her, I let blast.